One of my favorite things when I wrote Play All Night was just digging through the myriad places that people had, you know, talked eloquently, and what I would call eloquently about the Allman Brothers Band, about the impact of the music on their lives, et cetera, et cetera. I was seeking ways to tell my own story, to share my view of it, and through what ended up in my case being a little bit of an academic, not a little bit, a lot of an academic lens, although I tried to write it for normal folks to read. One of the little tropes I picked up when I used to edit a magazine was the power of kind of pulling quotes from stories to highlight chapters, subheadings, articles, everything else. And today I came across this one quote, and I'm just going to share it. Leads off chapter 13. Every chapter I've got a quote that kind of sums up the content. And the chapter is called "At Fillmore East Breaks Through, Summer and Fall 1971." The quote, which is I'm going to read the fuller quote in a second, is: "My complaint is this: after listening to your beautiful music, the rest of my records seem irrelevant." So I want to talk about that source and share the full quote with you. It's a pretty powerful statement about the power of the Allman Brothers Band. Here's a photocopy of the envelope. It's addressed simply the Allman Brothers Band, care of Atlantic Records, who was distributing Capricorn at the time when At Fillmore East came out, sent it to their address at Broadway in New York City. 1841, Broadway, New York City. This letter gets sent from Quebec, Canada, to the Allman Brothers, care of their record distributor. It's dated November 10th, 1971. That's interesting because it's 11, 12, 13 or so days after Duane's death in a motorcycle accident. Here's what M. Script writes: "Please view this letter of complaint. After spending a small fortune and hard-earned money and amassing a very fine record collection, I recently purchased your new double live LP. After smoking up some excellent homegrown marijuana, one joint only, I then played your album. My complaint is this: after listening to your beautiful music, the rest of my records seem irrelevant. Thank you each for a wonderful performance. Hope to see you live. Your dedicated fan, M. Script, from Quebec, Canada." I mentioned, probably one of the most telling things about this is the fact that Duane had already died by the time Script wrote this letter. I have no idea how this ended up in the archives. This is from the Big House in Macon. They've got some phenomenal stuff there. I know that my dude John Linsky is I think he's the archivist or curator there, is historian of record, and is doing a lot of work getting those things in order, because there's just a treasure trove of stuff. This is probably one of the earliest fan letters um, for Fillmore East. They had a whole bunch of stuff from all kinds of people who had seen them over the years. And Kirk West had just amassed a really killer collection that started everything down there. But anyway, please view this letter of complaint. The rest of my music seems irrelevant after I listen to your music. That was the impact the Allman Brothers Band had on me from the very beginning. It really, when I was perfectly attuned to listen to them, it's the journey that got me to writing Play All Night, Duane Allman, and the Journey to Fillmore East. And this letter is complete. It's in there for sure. And I used that full quote as a chapter kind of subheader, so a way to set the stage for the way I love, though, when I find a gem like this. Long live the Allman Brothers Band.